about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics.
Harambe YouTube, it is Charles here. If I run out of breath occasionally in this video, don't mind it. I'm actually doing my pedaling, getting my cardio in as I record this video for you. But as we know, comic books don't stop. There's all kinds of good stuff coming out every Wednesday, so I'm not going to stop telling you about it. This week we have a lot of interesting stuff, a bunch of annuals, a bunch of specials, and a bunch of #1 issues. So stay tuned to the end because you might hear something that you want to add to your collection this new comic book day. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start with DC Comics and the Absolute Wonder Woman 2026 Annual. If you are a fan of the Absolute Universe, Absolute Wonder Woman is one of my favorite books out right now in that universe. Really enjoy it. I'm actually reading that one, Absolute Superman. And my favorite is Absolute Green Lantern. I read Absolute Batman #1. Great. I read the Annual. One of the best books I've read in a couple of years. And I read the Arc M one-shot special, which was brilliant as well. So DC is doing some great things with the Absolute Universe. Check it out. This Annual is a great way to hop on and see what's going on with the Wonder Woman story, and find out if it's something that you want to, start reading. Next, we have a brand new #1 called Bleeding Hearts. It's from DC/Vertigo. And it looks like it's going to be some kind of zombie thing. I read the premise, very interesting. Not really my bag, but if you're into zombie stuff and post-apocalyptic stuff, definitely seems like it's going to be up your alley. It has a very, very cool art style that I really dug. I'm just reading so much stuff. Can't justify adding it to the cart. Next, we have DCKO #4. Now, I'm not following every book with the DCKO. I've gotten a few of the specials. I got the crossover they did with Dynamite, Archie Comics, Mortal Kombat. Very, very good stuff there. I'm actually going to record a video review of that book, so stay tuned to the channel for that. But the thing I like about this DCKO #4 is Batman is on the cover dressed like a luchador, which I found humorous. I love a novel cover, and that is definitely one. Next, we have from DC, Black Label, Sirens Love Hurts, featuring the Gotham City Sirens, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. And it's from their Black Label series, so, it's going to be a little bit more adult themed. A little bit darker and more violent than the usual fare you get from these three. Next, we have Peacemaker Tries Hard, a trade paperback. Now, when Peacemaker Tries Hard came out a couple years ago, it was my first introduction to the character. And every time I opened that book, I laughed until I hurt. And when I say laugh until I hurt, I don't mean hypothetically. I was literally on my porch, reading every issue, laughing until my abdominal muscles hurt. It is a very fun book. Peacemaker, he is delusional, unself-aware, and not very bright in all of the funniest ways. So you can get the whole series in trade paperback form. I suggest you get it. I might get me one. Next, we're going to be moving to it's Dynamite Comics. Here we go. And we have a DuckTales Valentine's Day special based on the cartoon from my childhood. Love me some DuckTales. Next, we have the Thundercats Valentine's Day special. Love me some Thundercats again. I was born in 78. So when Thundercats came out, that was right in my prime cartoon watching. So I like getting Thundercat books occasionally because it reminds me of my childhood and, brings that sense of nostalgia. Okay, and then we have going on to Image Comics. We have Blood and Thunder, #10. It is an epic space adventure. It covers a lot of things, from colonization to prejudice to all kinds of different social themes, but it's very fun, very violent, a touch vulgar, and something very smart put into a dumb looking package. Let's just say that. Behind it, there's a lot of crude humor, there's a lot of violence, but underneath all of that entertainment value is a stronger core message. Next, from Image Comics / Todd McFarlane Productions, we have The Curse of Shirley Johnson, number 4, that is part of the Spawn universe. Sticking within the Spawn universe, we have Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger, number 13, from Image / Todd McFarlane Productions. It is a prequel of Gunslinger Spawn's life in the 1800s before he got sucked into the future by Spawn to join the battle for the Throne of Hell. So that was his introduction into the universe. Now we get to go back and meet him in his own element. Next we have G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, number 325. A tremendous legacy behind this book. It's been going since the early 80s and has gone through multiple companies from Marvel to IDW. Now it's with Image / Skybound, and they're still doing great stuff with it. Next, from Todd McFarlane / Image, we have King Spawn 52, which, unlike a lot of other side books, and you might have a Superman book that takes place in this continuity and one that takes place in a different. King Spawn and Spawn, along with all of the other books in the Spawn universe, tie into the current run of Spawn, be they prequels like Deadly Tales or Nyx, the Book of Nyx, or it could be taking place in the future like Rat City. They all revolve around everything happening with Al Simmons. And while Spawn is like an A story, King Spawn is like a B story. Same continuity, but at a different angle, with different stories. Next, from Image Comics, we have Witchblade Annual 2026. Really loving this relaunch of Witchblade. I didn't get into the original series until after they re-released this one, and I really enjoy both. This newer one, it fits more into my wheelhouse as far as modern writing, being a relatively new comic reader myself. I've been doing this for maybe 7 years. And a bunch of the stuff from the 90s, to me, it seemed like it was... I love the art style in the original Witchblade, but it seemed very, very wordy, and they gave you way too much lore at one time. Which I mean, I feel bad about complaining about it, because a lot of books nowadays, you don't get enough lore, you don't get enough of the written word. But with Witchblade, it's one of those, I go back to the original 90s series, and it's one of those books that I'm going to read, put down for a while, then I might read number 2. Alright, so enough rambling here. We're almost to the end. Next, we have Babs, The Black Road South, number 2. This is from Ahoy Comics, and I love Babs. It is like a spoof or satire of Red Sonja, but it is very, very much lowbrow, self-aware, intentionally ridiculous, genre crossing, and it's all set in a barbarian time, actually with references to Hyconia and Red Sonja. But they do things like, have, certain modern things happen, and they touch on modern concepts of modern culture within this barbarian landscape in a very tongue-in-cheek way. So really love Babs. Next we have Barbarian Behind Bars #1 from Mad Cave Comics. This seems more like a fish out of water. This barbarian is brought modern times, ends up getting locked up, and it's an interesting premise. I may or may not try it. Mad Cave, I struggle with buying new Mad Cave books, but not for the reason you think. It's because I have not read a bad book from Mad Cave Comics. And when I read one issue, I have to read all the other issues. They haven't really been putting out the quality, so it's more of a financial fear than a fear of lack of quality. And then we're going to end off with one from Boom Comics. We have their anthology series, Hello Darkness, but this is a special. Hello Darkness, Good Bones, and Other Tales #1. Very, very good horror anthology. You get books like The War, actually, had the first act in issue #1. You get stories from Something is Killing Children and other Boom properties, as well as just original show stories for the anthology. But check that out if you're a horror fan. And I also want to say, too, I am very, very, very excited about a couple of books that are out right now, stories we have. This right here, the AEW DC crossover part of the KO Universe. If you are a wrestling fan and a comic book reader, this is a must-have. Really digging this cover. This is actually a two-sided cover I have right here, with a lot of the characters from All Elite Wrestling and DC on both sides. I also got the cover with Hangman Page and Lex Luthor. And then, like I said, I just read this Boss Battle. Very, very fun book with a lot of characters that I absolutely love. If you can't tell from my hanging comics that I got the Vampirella stripes of Red Sonja Vampirella versus Betty and Veronica. I love those characters. So to see them interacting with my favorite DC characters and other characters like Homelander and Annabelle and Scorpion and Sub-Zero, it's insane and it's fun. I'm actually going to give it another read because I enjoy that much. Anyway, y'all be easy. Have a good new comic book day, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.